SMEC-Studio.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of SMEC-Studio's School at Home, where we present interdisciplinary school, home, and education resources for grades pre-K through 20. We're so glad you joined us today for our development program. And I am your host, Monique. This is episode 12 of 19 of our training videos on general education. We invite you to turn on your closed captioning to follow along with today's lesson and meet us in our online Google Classroom. You may have to download the free app. Then you will use join code KY3POSU to follow along with resources related to today's lesson. While this is our original online classroom code, it is subject to change. No worries. Please use the SMEC-Studio code assigned to you to follow along with our work. Once inside of our online classroom, you will go to topic 5, resources, and read or follow along with the XCI cross-content indicators by episode. More specifically, this section is where you will find a reference to standards. In other words, what we will align our academic learning to. To repeat, please go to our online classroom, find topic 5, resources, and read or follow along with the XCI cross-content indicators by episode attachment. You may pause this video while you locate and open the XCI cross-content indicators by episode located inside of your assigned classroom. Once inside our online classroom, you will find other free resources, including our syllabus, routine, homework suggestions, academic subjects, which include core and specialties of career and technical education, college and career readiness, and entrepreneurship, as well as additional resources that we offer. At SMEC-Studio, we believe in empowering families and students to learn what they want at their own pace. We also believe that each person is different with diverse learning styles, unique talents, and special gifts. We know that you can do hard things, but if you need expert support, our educators are standing by to assist you, either in developing unique curricula, offering one-on-one tutoring, and individualizing assignments for our students. These are additional services, and more details can be shared when you contact us. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, thank you for choosing SMEC-Studio as your learning partner. We understand how hard it is to find educational materials for your children or for yourself, and we're honored that you are choosing to learn with us. We appreciate you. For those who are returning to us, we also thank you. Be sure to check 3 special sections in our online classroom. The first one is going to be in topic 5, resources. There you will find the cross-content indicators. These are helpful to follow along with what we will be discussing in today's episode. The second special section is also located in Topic 5 Resources, and it is the Individual Learning Report. This is where you will find additional services, such as transcripts to communicate what you are learning through SMEC-Studio. The third special section in our online classroom will be found in Topic 6, Tutoring, and referring to the Translating the Indicators material, which is a written explanation for core class indicators or learning standards. They are given and shared with you there. Please know that I do not expect you to know how to do all of this work by yourself. I am trusting you that you're going to ask for assistance when you need it. And now for today's lesson. As a reminder, the interventions or tasks and assessments are listed as follows. A scaled score of 2.0 is typically for intermediate grade students or for a learner who can participate in a discussion or practice exercises. Scaled score 3.0 is typically for middle grade students or for a learner who can pass either a verbal or written formal assessment. Scaled score 4.0 is typically for secondary grade or high school students or for a learner who can investigate, plan, and or create with concepts or topics from the course's standards. Again, if you need expert assistance, our educators are standing by to help. Just contact us, and we would love to serve you. Today, the standards-aligned indicators we are going to focus on include cross-content impact standards, or CCIS, and related core standards, or RCS. In this episode, we will have one cross-content impact standard from science and 16 related core standards from social studies, math, and RLA. Can I share something with you that you might not yet know? If you can become proficient, not perfect, at the standards from this episode, we are indicating that you are about 5% ready to graduate from high school. Although it may seem challenging at times, I believe in you, and I know you can do hard things. This is no different. I will take some time to explain it to you now, but your job is to practice it on your own or with someone who can explain it to you. If you need someone to explain it to you, contact us here at SMEC-Studio. Now, back to today's standards. For our cross-content impact standards, it reads as Science 4. Evaluate whether a conclusion or theory is supported or challenged by particular data or evidence. Another way of saying this is when given data or evidence, decide on if a conclusion or a theory agrees with or disagrees with it. If you want to practice that at a scaled score of 2.0, you can participate in a discussion about it or complete some practice exercises related to it. If you want to become proficient with that scaled score of 3.0, you can pass a formal verbal or written assessment about that standard. And if you want to master it at a scaled score of 4.0, you can investigate, plan, or create a portfolio independent research project about it. For our first related core standard, it reads as Social Studies 1B. Cite or identify specific evidence to support inferences or analyses of primary and secondary sources. attending to the precise details or explanations or descriptors of a process, event, or concept. 7A with social studies wants you to distinguish among fact, opinion, and reasoned judgment in a primary or secondary source document. Social Studies 7B wants you to distinguish between unsupported claims and informed hypotheses grounded in social studies evidence. Social Studies 10A wants you to interpret, use, and create graphs like a scatter plot, a line, bar, or circle graph, and improve proper labeling techniques based on trends, research, and the data, but it shouldn't extend past reasoned data. For Social Studies 10B, use data to explain two variables, dependent and independent ones, in a graph. Analyze and communicate how the variables are related. With 10C in Social Studies, distinguish between correlation and causation. Another way of saying this about social studies is when given primary and secondary sources. Precisely find and cite specific evidence for inference or analysis purposes. More specifically, pay special attention to details, explanations, or descriptions for either processes, events, or concepts. Also, explain the difference between fact, opinion, and reasoned judgment for primary or secondary sources. Using social studies evidence, determine the differences between unsupported claims and grounded informed hypotheses. Label, interpret, use, and create different graphs, for example, scatter plots or lines or bars or circle graphs. Use data to predict reasonable trends and explain the relationship between a graph or data as variables, including dependent and independent ones. Know the different aspects of correlation and causation. For our second related core standard, it states that Math 1D recognize and identify missing information that is required to solve a problem. 3A builds steps on a line of reasoning or solution pathway based upon previous steps or givens. 3B, complete the lines of reasoning of others. 3C with math, improve or connect a flawed line of reasoning. 5A, recognize flaws in others' reasoning. 5B, recognize and use counterexamples. 5C, identify the information required to evaluate a line of reasoning. Another way of saying this is to realize when and what information is missing in order to solve a problem. When given previous steps, build upon them reasonably. When given others' reasoning, complete what would come next in their line of reasoning. In the case of incorrect reasoning, improve upon it. Note what is flawed in others' reasoning. See and use counterexamples. Form an opinion or a line of reasoning on your own. Lastly, for our third related core standard, RLA 8.1 wants us to delineate the specific steps needed in an argument that the author puts forward, including how the argument claims are built on one another. 8.2 asks to identify specific pieces of evidence an author uses to support claims or conclusions. And 8.3 asks to evaluate the relevance and sufficiency of evidence offered in support of a claim, primarily measured with informational text. 8.4 distinguish claims that are supported of or by reasoned evidence from claims that are not. 8.5 assess whether the reasoning is valid, identify fallacious reasoning in an argument, and evaluate its impact. 8.6 identify an underlying premise or assumption in an argument and evaluate the logical support and evidence provided, primarily measured with informal oral text. Another way to talk about these RLA standards is to use an author's steps and include how their claims are related. To support a claim or a conclusion, identify specific evidence from the author's work. When given a claim, determine if the evidence is for relevancy. Use informational text to give information. Also know the difference between claims that do and do not have reasonable evidence. When considering reasoning, describe on if it is valid or incorrect and how it impacts the given information. Use oral text to identify the premise or previous statement that leads to the next point. And decide on if the evidence given logically supports it. As we summarize today's lesson, the standards that we discussed were 4A and 1B, 10A through C, Math 1D and 3A through C, 5A from Math through C, and RLA 8.1 through 8.6. Be sure to review them on your own after this video. To repeat, if you want to practice these standards at a scale score of 2.0, you can participate in a discussion about it or complete some practice exercises related to them. If you want to become proficient with a scaled score of 4.0, 3.0, you can pass a formal verbal or written assessment that discusses them. And if you want to master these standards at a scaled score of 4.0, you can investigate, plan, or create a portfolio or an independent research project about them. You may also contact us to help you improve upon your own skills from reading to writing and math. We offer practice exercises, coaching services, and educational supports to help you grow academically. Again, if you need either some inspiration for activities, expert support, or a deeper understanding of the standards-aligned indicators, our educators are standing by to assist you. Feel free to contact us through text or FaceTime at 1-708-351-1508. Email us at info@smec-studio.com or visit us on the web at smec-studio.com, where you can book time with us, find our catalog of courses, or view additional services that we offer, including certifying transcripts for homeschoolers. Until next time, be kind, be safe, and be best. Happy learning.
You have many choices as to what you can do next. 4 of them are listed here. One idea is to complete the participation form that guides you through the module. The link to complete it will be shared with you. 2 other suggestions: completing either the student engagement activities or the career exploration and preparation plan are available for an additional fee and can be accessed by contacting SMEC-Studio. Lastly, you can choose to review the notes that you took while you watched this episode and then complete any assigned work your course instructor or teacher has assigned for you. If you have any questions, remember to either research your own solutions or to ask someone for help. Whichever action item you choose, be sure to give your best efforts when completing it. Your future is counting on you.
Online teaching and e-learning starting at 25. CBE, ILPs, and instructional design consultant services. Monthly programming too. SMEC-Studio has something for you.
At our online school, you'll learn STEAM, media, entrepreneurship, and computer science, y hablamos español.
SMEC-Studio.com is the one when you're planning while at home to make learning fun. Call 708-351-1508 or text 708-351-1508.